Level 1. The invisible voice. The first thought that controls you isn't loud at all. It's the quiet whisper that tells you who you are before you ever question it. It's the voice you didn't choose. The one shaped by parents, teachers, strangers, a childhood memory you barely remember. It tells you things like you're not enough, or you need to prove yourself to be loved. This voice doesn't scream. It sighs, just like in limbo, because it knows that if you never notice it, you will carry it into eternity. Some people live their entire lives guided by this voice without realizing it wasn't theirs to begin with. This is where the first trap of the mind begins. Believing the thoughts that were handed to you before you were old enough to refuse them before the next thought arrives. There is the gatekeeper, a psychological instinct called the ego. When something threatens your self-image, this mental judge decides whether to let it in or reject it. Whenever you come into contact with this ego, you can't help but defend yourself. Even when deep down you know you're lying. It protects the identity you built, even if that identity is the prison that keeps you small. Level 2 comparison. This is the most used trick of the mind to keep people suffering. It begins with a single glance at someone richer, more loved, more attractive, and suddenly a hurricane of invisible winds tosses you around. One moment you feel superior, the next worthless. It never gives you rest. Those who live blown about by the passions of envy now get blown about by their own thoughts, scrolling endlessly. Comparing constantly, the contrapasso of comparison is this. When you spend your life looking outward, you never once see yourself. Level 3, the hunger for more. In this level, there is a constant downpour, not of rain, but of desires. Every time you get what you want, it melts away, forcing you to want again. Happiness becomes delayed. Always somewhere in the future, people here lie down emotionally, pretending they don't care, because if they stood up fully, their desires would rip them apart. The mind tells them that once they reach the next milestone, money, body, relationship, then they will finally begin living. But the punishment of this thought is eternal. The finish line keeps moving. Level 4, the seeking of approval. Those who battle here are constantly running into each other with memories of past judgments. Every look someone gave them, every time they felt humiliated, every compliment they were denied. They carry big, heavy bags made of other people's opinions. They spent their lives hoarding validation. But now they must fight endlessly for nothing, because the approval they worshipped never truly existed. No famous figures are found here, because everyone who lived for others eventually becomes unrecognizable, even to themselves. Level 5, anger at life. This one is not to be confused with rage. It's for those who lived with a quiet bitterness. There is a sea of mud where people push each other down to rise above. Yet no one ever escapes resentment, bubbles beneath the surface. Anger at parents, at fate, at mistakes. Many souls lie underneath saying nothing, choking on unspoken words. The river that crosses here is called what could have been. Those who travel it never notice the red glow in the distance, the burning truth that everything they hated was only a reflection of themselves. As we get closer, the gates appear, made of memories you refuse to face. Fallen thoughts guard them, telling you you're not ready to change. They try to lock you into your old self, because transformation threatens their existence only when a higher consciousness arrives. A voice not from trauma or fear, but from awareness. Do the gates crack open? Level 6, self-betrayal. Here the mind tortures itself actively. People lie inside emotional tombs, burning with the flames of regret every time they said yes when they meant no. A fire ignited every time they abandoned themselves to keep others comfortable. A new injury formed. This is where those who lived against their own truth reside if someone asks who you are, and you can't answer. You're probably already in this level. Level 7, violence, but internal. Divided into 3 parts. Violence against others, where people hold grudges like boiling blood. Violence against themselves, where every insult they once heard becomes a weapon they now use on their own soul. Violence against purpose, where dreams hang like lifeless bodies on trees, reminders of what they could have been if someone avoids pursuing their calling because they're afraid of failing. Here they walk on burning sand, while pieces of missed opportunities rain on them. Every step screams, you had potential and chose safety. Level 8, the lies you tell yourself. Here are 10 trenches where each type of deception lives. The first is for those who pretend they're fine. The second is for those who say one day but never begin. The third is for those who fake happiness online. The fourth is for those who twist their identity to fit a room. The fifth is for those who use productivity as a disguise. For fear, the sixth is for those who wear heavy armor, confidence on the outside, insecurity inside. The seventh is for those who steal time without noticing, scrolling until life fades. The eighth is for those who manipulate themselves, saying they don't care when they deeply do. The ninth is for those who start chaos within their own mind. The 10th is for those whose thoughts rot into apathy, where no desire survives. Level 9, betrayal of the self. The deepest level, a frozen lake where souls stay still because stillness feels safer than emotion here. People freeze because they have betrayed their inner child, the part of them that once dreamed tears fall but freeze instantly, becoming walls around them. These are thoughts like, it's too late, I'll embarrass myself, I'm not special. Once someone believes these, a demon called identity takes over and wears their body like a costume. They continue walking through life, but the real self remains trapped here, forgotten, and in the very center lies the greatest controller of all, the thought that you are your thoughts, a massive creature with three faces: fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of being fully seen. Its wings freeze every dream. Its teeth chew every spark of change while it feeds. You remain exactly where you've always been. But unlike Dante's hell, this prison has an exit. The chains were never real, and all that is needed to escape is the simplest realization. You are the one watching the thoughts, not the thoughts themselves.